Welcome, everyone, to episode 12 of Video Game Club, where every 2 weeks we play and discuss a game voted on by you. I'm Tyler, and I have with me today the one and only Austin.
Hello.
Austin, are you having a good day today?
I am having a pretty good day today. How's your day going?
Oh, it's good. Super good. And of course, it would not be a Video Game Club meeting without the amazing and wonderful Mox.
Hello.
Mox, how you doing?
Great, how about you?
Good. Okay, so, gosh, it's episode 12. I didn't think we would make it past 5, to be honest, but...
What?
What would happen?
I don't know, but I've completed more games this year than I have in my entire lifetime, I think. Playing all the way through.
There are people who read books. Like, they count how many books they read.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing that. We're playing video games.
Yep, that's true. Before we get started, let's go over what the options were for this episode. And this was like a special set of options because they were longer games, which we're going to do in 2 parts. So they were God of War, the 2018 version, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Wind Waker HD. And of course, the winner was Jedi Fallen Order, which we will be doing in 2 parts. But if you were wanting a different game, join us over in the Bombchu Discord to cast your vote. You can find a link to the Bombchu Discord in the stream by typing !Bombchu, or a link in the description of the video version of this video that will be on YouTube. I said video twice. I don't know why I did that. Now, besides Jedi Fallen Order, what have you guys been playing? And let's start with Mox. Are you Angler of the Year yet in Final Fantasy XIV?
No, but I did catch... I don't even know what they're called. It's like the fancy fish that are really hard to catch. I caught one, and it was just glorious. And
Fancy fish.
Oh, I mean, they're like, I don't know what... I have no idea what they're called. Wow, I feel really sad that I don't know what they're called. They're like special fish. I don't know, they're big. And they take a long time to catch, but I caught one, and it was glorious.
Is it like a loach?
I don't know. It was like some swordfish.
Okay.
It's not a real fish. They're like fake fish, like Final Fantasy fish.
All right. But Final Fantasy XIV is still your life, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know how you guys played a bunch of different games. All I want to do is play like one game, and then I play it until it's dead, and then I move on to another game, and then I play that one until it's dead.
So we've
lost you
to Final Fantasy XIV for like the next 5 years, probably.
Well, it depends on how good it is, and it's very good, so probably, yeah.
All right. Austin, what have you been playing?
I have tried to get back into Doom Eternal because I stopped playing that a little bit after it came out, and
what?
Man, I really need to go finish that.
What is this?
Doom Eternal?
Oh, I think you said Doomy Turtle. I was like, I've never heard of that. Yes, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, Doom Eternal. And, man, I'm on, like, level 3 or 4 or something like that, and it spawned me directly into a fight, which should have been really easy, and I just got my butt kicked. And immediately after that, I finally kind of got my stuff together, and
yeah,
it's like a long 5-minute fight after that it's 5 minutes, that doesn't sound long, but if you die, you go right back to the beginning, and it's easy to die just like that, man.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's kicking my butt.
You did beat Doom 2016, right?
Oh yeah, I loved that game.
Yeah, that game's great. Awesome. I have been playing Control, which came to Game Pass recently, and it's interesting. I honestly expected it to be more beautiful than what it is. I don't know. The hair. I don't know why, but it like bothers me. Yeah, I don't know. Focus too much on this girl's hair, I think. But the game has some really cool like Stranger Things vibes, and
no spoilers.
It's got a really cool gun in it. I'm not spoiling anything, but it's been great so far. The gameplay is really solid. Yeah.
Someone sent me a screenshot from it, and it was like a big empty white space with like a little lucky cat, and I was like, I have to play this game.
I have not got there yet.
Oh, it has nothing to do with the plot, is what I was told.
Okay.
But I had a cat.
Besides Control, I have also I checked out Haven.
It's Haven.
It's a game made by the devs that made Fury. Yeah, well, I'll have to talk about Haven later, but it's interesting.
Okay.
Let's jump into why everyone's here right now, which is to talk about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a third-person action-adventure game developed by Respawn Entertainment, based in Sherman Oaks, California, published by Electronic Arts. We have done a game by Respawn already in Game Club. It was before Mox's time. Austin.
It was before the Bombchu VODs as well.
Oh, it was. It's now, that video is actually not lost. That is one of the VODs that I downloaded, so maybe one day we'll do like and here's the lost episode of Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
And
our pilot episode.
Yeah, and I mean we loved it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So back to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So it came out November 15th of last year, 2019.
That's my birthday. Oh, it's so exciting.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just for you.
I know. Well, and the PlayStation always comes out around my birthday. Everything happens on my birthday. It's such a good time of year. Anyway, so keep going.
It was on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It launched at the same time on all three. And it came to Stadia 1 year later. So what was going on in the year of our Lord, 2019? So here's just some games that came out. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Untitled Goose Game, Outer Wilds, Beat Saber, Death Stranding, Control, Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, and many, many more games, of course. Was there anything in 2019 that you guys want to just like highlight as far as game releases go?
It was a year ago, and it's been so long since then.
It has.
That's all I had to say.
Last year, people were behaving a lot differently than this year. I'll tell you that. Jeez. Yeah. There was a lot of hardware releases last year. The Xbox One, sad. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition. The Valve Index.
Oh yeah.
The Switch Lite.
Mm-hmm.
And Stadia was announced.
Hey, that's not a hardware release.
Well, a cloud platform release. I don't know. We'll lump it in there.
New platform.
The game was developed using the Unreal Engine version 4. So that is a little overview of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Let's dive into the history of this game. It's going to be a little different than how we would normally do things, and I'll address that once we get there. But we're not going to talk about the reception or the sales of this game. We're going to save that for next episode where we go into part 2.
Part 2, baby.
But let's talk about the dev of this game. Now, we could spend a long time talking about Respawn Entertainment, which is, of course, the studio that Vince Sampella works at, who, as far as I believe, can do no wrong. This is a guy who worked on Call of Duty, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Titanfall 2, this game, Apex Legends. They're working on a Medal of Honor VR game right now, which previewed extremely well. I don't think it's released yet, but it has been previewing really well. We don't really need to talk about EA here, unless you guys have some stuff. I mean, it's a huge company. You could do a whole 2-hour discussion on Electronic Arts and everything. But was there something you wanted to say, Mox, about EA?
They The Sims.
The Sims, yeah, they did The Sims. So, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was directed by Stig Asmussen, who joined Respawn in 2014. He joined from Sony Santa Monica, I want to say. And he joined to lead the second dev team at Respawn. So he joined, they were like, you're going to lead our second dev team here at Respawn. In May of 2016, it was revealed that Respawn was working on a third-person action-adventure game set in the Star Wars universe, which would be, of course, this game. Something interesting is that when they were first making the game, it was not supposed to be a Star Wars game. It just became, after they had a prototype together, they were like, oh, this would make, we could do something with Star Wars here. And that's how that came to be.
That makes sense to me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the so going off of their like Titanfall stuff with the wall running and things like that seemed to be something they had nailed down really well. I'm guessing they were going to use that in this other game, and when they started for a lot of the kind of interesting movement stuff that they're known for.
Yeah,
it kind of fits well with a Jedi's moveset.
Yeah, I agree. So the narrative designer for this game was Aaron Contreras, and he is known for Mafia 3, AC Black Flag, Bioshock Infinite, Far Cry 3, World of Warcraft. I mean, this is like, he has some experience, this guy. And he had a team of narrative designers that worked on this game, pretty large team. And Chris Avallone was one of them, who is famous for Fallout 2, the Icewind Dale series, KOTOR 2, Pillars of Eternity, Divinity, and he's now working on System Shock. So, I mean, they have a team behind this game, or had one. I mean, this game's over now, but, there's a team of really strong people in the industry behind this. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, didn't LucasArts used to make its own games? I kind of remember they made Grim Fandango.
They did. They did a lot of Scum Engine games like Monkey Island, stuff like that.
Full Throttle,
they also
right?
did like pretty much all
them?
the Star Wars games. They did Indiana Jones games.
What happened?
Disney bought Lucasfilm and they shut down LucasArts.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad day. But it was made using Unreal Engine 4, which we already mentioned. It was heavily inspired by Wind Waker and Dark Souls. The director mentioned, he's quoted saying that the goal of this game was to have like a deep combat system while incorporating aspects of Metroidvania map design, which, I mean, yes. Like, you can tell that's what it's going for.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you guys feel about the score of this game?
It made me think of a Star Wars movie. It was right on.
It fits very well with the Star Wars movies. It feels very natural. There's times when I'm coming around a corner and I don't know what's there, and the sound cue will come. It's just like, oh, something awful's around the corner. I don't know what it is, but I can tell it's going to be some nasty monster. I think my favorite piece of the music is actually in like the unskippable branding at the start. That every time I launch it, they do the da 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 da. It's like, oh, I want to hear more of that. But
So this soundtrack was composed by two people. Gordy Hobb, who made the Star Wars Battlefront, the relaunch or whatever you want it, the remake. Reimagining, I guess. Halo Wars 2, Battlefront 2, the one that came after, and Squadrons. And then they had Stephen Barton working on it as well, who did the Titanfall series, Watch Dogs Legion, Call of Duty 4. And it was recorded at Abbey Road Studios with the London Symphony Orchestra and the Bach Choir of London as well. So, they put some money into this music. And I personally think it shows. Like, whenever I was playing the game, I heard some songs that I was like, oh, this is great. Like, it feels like Star Wars. Like, it sounds like Star Wars. It's great. There's I thought this was interesting. I don't think I got to this part yet, but maybe I did. They're a Mongolian folk metal band, The Who, or Hugh, wrote and recorded a song. I'll try my best to pronounce this. Sugan Esena, which was featured prominently in the game. The song lyrics were written in Mongolian, but then they were translated to a fictional Star Wars language.
So I think this is the song that you hear at the beginning that like Cal is listening to, and then it plays again when you go to Ordo Eris.
Yeah, where we ended.
Okay.
And he says, "I know this band," as you walk in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I played it last week, so that's why I was like, yeah, and I mean, just some little fun facts about this game. Like, it has lightsaber combat in it, of course, but you cannot dismember enemies except fauna and droids, and that was a choice that was made by Disney and Lucas as to not do that. What I read is that they want to save that for like big story moments in the game, or sorry, in like the universe, and so that's why that's not happening. Usually, like I said before, we would talk about reception and sales, but we're gonna save that for the next episode. Is there anything that you guys wanted to add that's not about reception and sales before we move forward?
I'll hold mine for later.
Yeah.
Mox, you too?
Yep.
All right, now we're gonna jump into some spoilers. So it's only the first part of the game. So if you're listening to the stream or the VOD right now, and you're like, I played this, but I don't know if it will be spoilery for me. We played all the way up to what was it called?
Ordo Eris.
Ordo Eris, right? So right after that, that's when we stopped. So feel free to tune out of this part if you haven't played yet. But if not, let's dive in here. So the story is set in the Star Wars universe 5 years after Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You follow a Jedi Padawan named Cal Kestis, who has became a target of the Galactic Empire, and you're hunted throughout your training. You're trying to complete your training, and you're hunted during this time. So that's just like a general overview of what you're doing. The game starts, and we're seeing it right now, actually, if you're watching the stream. It starts on... You play as Cal, and you're on this planet called Braca. And what you're doing is you're salvaging ships from the Clone Wars. And Cal has purposely, hid his Force abilities. And he normally, would be able to hide them and I guess practice them in privacy, but one of his friends, his name's I think this guy's name's Prof. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What happens is there's some incident that happens, and Cal uses the Force to save his friend, and of course that gets on camera, or it's seen by a droid or something, and they're like, oh hell no, we got to investigate this, and because they want to get rid of all the Jedis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe the plural of Jedi is Jedi.
Okay. They want to get rid of all the Jedi. It's like deer.
Mm-hmm. It's like emoji.
There's no emojis.
No. I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
No, I did not know that. So we're seeing it right now, but Prof dies.
Oh, it's such a weird, sad way.
Yeah. Fortunately, Cal is able to escape. You kind of have this duel with the second sister that happens, and you get rescued.
She's an Inquisitor.
Inquisitor, yeah. And you get rescued by a Jedi Knight, a former Jedi Knight called Sari.
He says it like Sari. Sari? Sari, something like that.
Sari Junda and her partner pilot, Grease, and their ship known as the Stinger Mantis. So they come save you. You leave Braca, and Sierra talks to Cal and explains what's going on, and he, oh, you're a Jedi, she can't believe it. She takes him to she wants them to open a vault, right? You go to Bogano, is that how you say it first? You guys remember?
I thought the A was Bogana.
Bogana.
It doesn't matter, whatever.
Okay, so you go there, you find BD1, who is this
the best.
Adorable.
Oh,
yeah.
So cute.
It's a little droid, he helps you out.
I would die for him.
BD1's great. So great. Yeah.
I can't, he's the best robot I've seen on any Star Wars, anything.
He's super helpful.
He's got a lot of personality. He tells you a joke at one point. I have no idea what he said, but it
was funny, all right?
Yeah. It made me laugh anyways.
the BD1 shows you a message from a Jedi Master named Eno Cordova, and he reveals that this vault that you go to was built by an ancient civilization called the Zepho. There's a Jedi holocron containing a list of Force-sensitive children that have been hidden inside by Cordova.
So Cordova used the vault to hide this holocron.
Correct.
Okay.
And
you made it seem like the children were stuck in the vault.
sorry. And so basically Seer, she believes that this list could help rebuild the Jedi Order.
Which is important to her because she is a Jedi, or she was a Jedi. She's cut
former.
herself off from the Force.
Yeah, and at this point in the story, you don't quite understand why that happens. And I think you learn some of that.
You learn the major reason.
Yeah, but I feel like that story is going to unfold even more as we play the game.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So you let's see. After that, what happens?
Cordova's like, you need to do a bunch of these trials to prove to me that you share my mission. And then after you do all these trials, come back here, and then I'll open the vault for you in his little holographic cell.
Right, and you get like there's some clue that you get that leads you to Kashyyyk, right?
He tells you. He's like, I think that, go to Kashyyyk.
Yeah, there was like a map on the wall that BD1 scans, and I think it brings up a hologram of Cordova to be like, yeah, I guess you should go to Kashyyyk now.
We can get into our criticism later, but he literally tells everyone what to do all the time.
Yeah. So you go to Kashyyyk, and you encounter the notorious insurgent Saw Gerrera.
Who is played by his original...
Forrest Whitaker?
Yes! They even got his Forrest Whitaker eye in there because they did mocap.
He caught me so much by surprise. I was just like, oh my god, it's Forrest Whitaker!
I didn't think it was actually him, but it was so uncanny. Not Uncanny Valley, but like actually like it looked exactly like him. I was so impressed. And I Googled it and I was like, oh my god, it's actually him.
And you work with him to free the Wookiees that are enslaved by the Empire.
Because they were like extracting sap from these trees to make weapons.
Yeah, because they're like the jerks.
Yeah, they really are.
The weirdest looking Wookiees I've ever seen, by the way.
I didn't like it.
They look super weird.
They look really weird, and they're like,
They're like tall and gangly and like kind of scrawny, and their hair's weird.
It's like all dreads. It's not fluffy at all.
I mean, who are we to judge Wookiees? But at the same time, like, they look a little off.
Yeah.
So I had written in my notes that they look like Harry the Henderson. Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. Anyway, keep going.
Okay, so you you go there to try to find the chieftain, Tarful, and you're unable to find him. So you return to Zepho to find more clues regarding the vault, but you're ambushed by the second sister, who reveals herself as Trilla Suduri, which is Seer's former Padawan.
And we thought was dead.
Yeah.
Because they got captured.
So you're already like, this girl is lying to me. This person who saved me, she's a liar. She's not telling me the full story. So you're kind of like skeptical of like what's really going on here.
Because she also kind of has something that she wants, and she's trying to find what's on Kashyyyk as well at that point. Or, sorry, is this when you're back at Bogano?
We're not there yet.
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, she explains to you that she was captured by the Empire after Seer betrayed her, hidden location under torture. So, and she warns Cal that he'll be betrayed by her. That like once they find like this holocron that they need to find, that he's going to be betrayed by her as well. Eventually, Cal learns that he requires a Zepho artifact called Astrium to unlock the vault, but he gets captured by a Haxian brood bounty hunter, and you're forced to fight in this like gladiator arena And at the end of that fight, you then get saved by Seer and the pilot's name. I can never remember.
Grease.
Yeah.
Who
Grease.
supposedly, like, Grease was part of the reason why you were captured in the first place?
He loves to
right.
gamble.
Yeah. It's the classic. People love to gamble in the Star Wars universe, it seems. It's like a big part of a lot of things, like planets that are there just for gambling and stuff.
What else is there to do? Everything's so sad.
Oh. But yeah, that's where we stopped, right? Everybody? Well,
yeah.
Mox, you may not have stopped there.
Yeah.
If you're reading.
You get rescued.
You get rescued, and that's where we...
There's a little cutscene that plays immediately before you are just, like, on the ship, where you kind of confront Siri about Trilla. And that's where I stopped.
Yeah, same, actually. Yeah, you kind of talk with her, and she admits to some of it, from what I can remember. Right? She's like, yeah, but she's not telling you, like, the full story. Like, don't give in to her, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, she basically kind of minimizes what Trilla has, like, said is, like, the worst thing ever.
And Cal's, you should have told me.
Yeah.
Like, you deceived me, and so things are left a little tense.
A little.
And when you're captured, I don't know if I said this, you do start, like, in, like, a jail cell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
and then you, like,
have
escape.
BD1.
Yes,
Oh.
and that was really...
It was very painful.
Yeah, it was really sad. And then you rescue BD1, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna get out of here, and that's when you go into the gladiator, like, arena type thing. Yeah, so we were essentially on three planets, I guess.
Yeah, I think there was some revisiting, like, Bogano you go to a couple of times. There was Kashyyyk.
Mm-hmm.
There was one planet that I got access to but didn't go to.
Same.
I decided to save it for later.
Yeah. And I think, that's something we can talk about later, for sure.
I guess Zepho. Was Zepho a planet?
No, that's the
I
name
don't
of
know
it.
what the planet was.
Zepho's the people.
I swear there were 4 planets I had access to.
Perhaps the one that you're going to next. Oh no, because you go back to I don't remember.
Anyway, that is the story. At least what we can remember. I should start playing the game later. I always, like, burn through it, and then I'm like, all right, now I need to write up something to talk about. And I'm like, what did I do? And I try to read some notes, and I'm like, I don't remember all of this. I just remember swinging a sword a lot.
It's there's somebody, I forget who said it, but somebody said story is one of the things that people remember the least about video games, and it's like one of the least important elements of a video game.
What?
Which I really disagreed with at the time, but then, like, we do this and we try to talk about the story in detail, and I'm like, oh man, we really did forget a lot of the details.
Gosh. Oof. I disagree thoroughly.
Can
Can we give our opinions about the story yet?
Oh, so far?
Yes. Are we not allowed?
Should we do that in spoilers?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd say it's and we can give more generic opinions overall later on.
All right, let's do it.
Okay,
Go
I'm
ahead,
going to give my
Mox.
opinion first.
Lay it on us.
I will admit that I am more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. I don't really like... Wars is all about, like, well, it's in the name, fighting. And Trek is all about, like, interactions between people. And so I got excited when the game opened with, like, just someone who's ostensibly just, like, a scrapper, just walking around, cutting open electronics. And because I feel like everybody in Star Wars is remarkable. Like, everybody that you care about, they have, like, some special skill, or, they're very force sensitive or whatever. And, like, all the main characters are in some way special. So that it bothers me. There's never just a common person. I think that person was Jar Jar Binks, and everyone hates him. So I feel like it proves my point. Anyway, and then when he was like, well, actually, I can use the Force, I was just like, what is this game? Like, whatever. Who cares about this? But I understand people want to play as a, whatever, laser sword swinging, future, fighting person. So whatever.
Laser shooty.
It's
Yeah.
it's a lightsaber. It's a saber.
I know. I'm giving you a general idea. That's what people want. That's what the people want. But anyway, so I guess the story is interesting, but I didn't like the game until I thought of it as another Uncharted game. And when it became an Uncharted game in my brain, I was like, oh my God, this story is amazing. Because it is a Star Wars game, it's like pretty boring. But as an Uncharted game, oh my God, it's amazing. So that was what I had to say about the spoiler plot. I have other thoughts that aren't spoilery.
The story has been okay. I liked the twist of the sister. That part was really cool.
Oh my God, wait. The second sister being Trilla or whatever?
Yeah.
That was a twist? It was so... it was like in your face. Like, of course she wears a mask. Of course she's someone important. Okay,
once that conversation started, I was like, this is gonna be The Apprentice. But up until that point, I wasn't really making that connection.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But besides that, like, I'm just like, it's, I can take it or leave it. I haven't had, like, of course you play as this guy who, he was a nobody, now he's a somebody. Oh, he has, like, someone did try to train him when he was a young boy, and then something happened with that situation, which you haven't figured out yet. Oh, great. Like, it's a very classic, but I think the second half is where there's going to be, like, a lot more meatier story for me.
I also was the AT-AT part during this segment where you get to control
that was on Kashyyyk.
Yep.
That part, I know I'm dating myself, but the original Disneyland Star Tours ride, that was it. That was what it was. It was you're in a rectangle box and you're looking through a screen. And of course, like the box moves because that's what the ride is. And there's a robot that's like telling you, a droid, sorry, that's telling you like what's going on outside. And you're stuck. You're like inside a cube, like cockpit. And that was like that ride. And like the things moved outside. I cannot think that it wasn't done intentionally because it is identical to the idea of the Star Tours ride. The newer one has like 3D and it moves a little more and everything's upgraded. But that was the old one, was like very static and you can't turn your head. Oh, I was just perfect. Loved it.
Did you get some tingly nostalgia from that?
So much. I was like, is this, oh my God, it's Star Tours. And I was like, who else thinks this? And I couldn't find anybody else because nobody else went on the original Star Tours because that was why I could go on like 12 times in a row. There was no line. And since then they like closed it and then upgraded it. Oh, but it was so good. Anyway, that's all I had. All
right. Austin, do you have anything you want to spoilery that you want to say before I...
Regarding the plot, no. Okay. I was kind of with you. The story... at the start was kind of like, oh, who's this guy? What's his story? And then all of a sudden it was just like, all right, go to the place.
Yeah.
And then the twist. It was like, oh, okay, the twist was good. I guess I've got some mild spoilery stuff in terms of gameplay. But it's not really that spoilery, I guess, now that I think about it.
If you're talking about like abilities and stuff, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's a Jedi, like, come on. If you don't know what you're expecting by now, maybe you're playing the wrong game. Alright, spoilers are going off. Alright. So, it's time for our personal takes of part 1 of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And of course, Cal plays this little guitar lute thingy, because he's got to woo them peeps. Mox, let's start with you and be honest with us how much you've played and how much you've read and how much you've watched, etc.
Okay. I started playing it. I think I got probably like an hour of gameplay in before I was like, oh my God, I hate this. It's not fun. And that was when I was thinking of it as a Star Wars game. And I was like, okay, I have an idea of what the gameplay is like because it seems very repetitive. Before I even started playing the game, I always look through all the settings and see what settings there are. I had to turn on subtitles, of course. And there was one that was like turn off QuickTime events, and I turned them off. And I'm so glad I did because it's so obvious where they are. And I would be like, you would ruin the stupid cutscenes. Who needs QuickTime events? It's 2020.
There aren't very many QuickTime events.
In the beginning, there is.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but after that, there's not really any.
Why have them at all? Well, I'm glad I turned it off anyway. Anyway, I like if I imagine this game as an Uncharted game, because it is an Uncharted game for some reason. I don't know why they labeled it Star Wars, because it's like Uncharted, but with just like lightsabers. It's a great Uncharted game. I like the puzzles. It has a lot of great, I guess parkour, jumping around, climbing stuff. I like the idea of like the vault and the ancient history part, which is very important to an Uncharted game. The fighting is has just enough elements to it, not to make it too complicated, but also not to make it the main point of the game. So it's like very simplistic, but also still requires some skill and timing. All of that makes it a great Uncharted game. As a Star Wars game, it's so boring. Why would anyone? It's like, it told me at the front, like, you're using a keyboard and mouse. I don't know if I would. You should probably use a controller, because it always tells me that. And I say, no, I'm going to use keyboard and mouse because I like keyboard and mouse. And then halfway through my, 1 hour playthrough, I was like, why did I not get out a controller? This is such a waste of time. The keyboard is painful. Anyway, it's an Uncharted game. You don't play Uncharted games with keyboard and mouse. You play them with your PS4 controller. So anyway, I liked it as an Uncharted game. That's all I had to say about that. If you turn on this, go ahead.
When you say Uncharted game, do you mean like third person, heavy story, combat with some puzzles? Like the classic Sony first party experience.
It's an Uncharted game. Imagine an Uncharted game, any of the one that you've played, and that's what this game is. Just with like a Star Wars varnish. It's so bizarre to me.
I mean, I see it. I totally see it. Like, I'm not gonna argue against that at all.
I guess I was surprised that you didn't say that Uncharted was one of the inspirations, because I only see Uncharted, plus a little bit of like Prince of Persia. That's it. And a lot of fan service, Star Wars fan service. I love the nostalgic like screen wipe transitions. The music sounds like it was composed by John Williams. All of that.
Got them horns. It's got them horns. And then the other thing,
if you turn on subtitles, and this is such a weird Star Wars thing, everybody can understand everybody else and speak their own language, and then they reply in their other language and they understand each other. I mean, it makes sense, like, from a language perspective, it's easier to understand than to speak. But I would hope that the subtitles would translate what they were saying, but no, it just says alien noises, or like when everybody tries to understand like some droid speaking, it says like what noises BD1 made. Like it'll say like beep boop, or like whoop, or buzz, or something like that.
I noticed that as well.
Do you play with subtitles?
I turned subtitles on basically so people watching on the stream would be able to see what was going on. But yeah, BD1, anytime he's talking, it's just like trill, beep, boop, bop. Just like,
no, I want to know what he's saying.
I do wish they would have translated his joke for me.
Anyways, I like the game if I imagine it as a Uncharted game. Otherwise, I don't care about it. That's my opinion.
Okay. Austin?
So, I had some friends who played this who really liked it, and it got really positive reviews when it came out. And
it did.
So, like, everyone was telling me, like, you gotta play through this game, like, it's so good. And I think I was expecting to like it more than I did. So far, I've had fun, but it just hasn't. I guess the longer I play, the more fun it gets. But at the start, I agree with Mox. It was pretty basic, and I was kind of wanting a little bit more, a little bit more interactivity. But once you start to get like your wall run, and you start getting some force upgrades, and you start to get upgrades for BD1, like being able to go back up zip lines and stuff like that, it's getting more interesting. So I'm trying to.
What about sliding? Do you like sliding?
Sliding is there. The game's a lot buggier than I thought it would be. Like it's pretty darn buggy.
Were you on
Not
PC?
in like a game-breaking way, but I encounter bugs frequently.
On PC, Austin?
Yeah. I'm on PC. So I thought that the like loading freeze bug that is on consoles was only on consoles, but I definitely hit one on PC where I was walking up to a spot and there was just nothing there, and it froze in place and then loaded the area in. I had a bug where I was fighting a really big guy, and I had him just about dead. I was fighting him and a giant spider, and I had this guy just about dead, where it gave me the prompt to do like a finisher on him, and I couldn't get to him because the spider was just being a butthead. And then he just fell over and died, but he still had health, and I couldn't attack him anymore, and so I couldn't finish the encounter until I reloaded the game. Lots of just weird, like, little camera... Like, if you're flying around, the camera will kind of do weird things, or you'll end up in weird spots, or floating. And so it turns out, Respawn considered delaying the game to fix all their bugs. But then that would mean not releasing for Christmas.
Oh my god, I hate
Something tells me EA probably wasn't a big fan of that.
Well, I don't know how much EA was a factor in that, but just hearing Respawn talk about it, basically, Rise of Skywalker was coming out, The Mandalorian was coming out, and they wanted to be able to get it out during this big holiday season of Star Wars. And I mean, the game is good enough. Like like I said, it's not game-breaking bugs. There's some little minor annoyances, but there's nothing that's just like, this is a totally broken game. It's just like, this really could use some extra polish. I kind of wish they had done some kind of post-launch patching to fix some of that stuff, but maybe some of it was just too broken to fix at that point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still overall I had a fun time. It's got little bits of Dark Souls. I've never really played a lot of Uncharted, so I was getting kind of Tomb Raider vibes. I guess Tomb Raider and Uncharted kind of share a lot anyways.
Yeah, especially now.
I can definitely see the Metroidvania stuff of like, come back to the planet after you've gotten this new ability.
Yeah.
But I do like that they kind of show you both when you're looking at something that you want to interact at the beginning, not so much, but like if you need to use a force power on something, it's like, if it's blue, you can do something with it, and if it's red, you don't have this power yet. I started using the map kind of late in the game, or into this first half of the game, that is. And the map is really good at showing you, hey, you can access this area, you haven't explored this area, you cannot access this area, if you want to go completionist and do stuff like that. So I am interested to see what the next half is going to be like, and if it changes my mind to be more positive. But yeah, so far this first half, I've had a good time, but not like an excellent time.
Yeah, so I played this on the new Xbox Series X. And yeah, fancy. And it does not have a patch, like a Xbox Series XS enhancement patch or whatever. It does have a patch for the Xbox One X, where they were doing like, oh, you can do 4K 30, or we will try to hit 60 frames. And I'm playing in performance mode, which is where it tries to hit 60 frames, and the game struggles on occasion. It's mostly smooth, but like it still has like some little blips here and there, and I don't think that's the hardware that's the problem.
I would hope not.
I think it's there's like some optimization stuff going on here. It doesn't like look the best, of course, in that mode, but it is at least smoother to play.
Does it look? I found that it looked very blurry, which I do feel like is kind of a Star Wars thing. Everything's kind of wiped over to look kind of bland, but it looked blurry. Does it look like that on yours?
Yeah, it does. And I know there's some film grain, I believe, and some also like motion blur stuff that you could turn off. That might help a little bit. I had also like the game, like, I mean, it's a action adventure. There's some platforming, some puzzle stuff in there. I had some issues with the platforming where I'm like, this is definitely a ledge I should be able to grab. Let me jump and grab it. Why isn't he grabbing it? Oh, no reason. Let me do it again. And now he grabs. And like, that stuff is very annoying. Uncharted 1 has some of that, but then like in the future Uncharted's, they like really like worked on that.
I have another question. On the keyboard mouse, when you jump onto something that's climbable, you have to press E to like adhere to it.
Yep,
which is so unnatural. What is that? What is it? Is it more natural with a controller?
Left trigger, and it's still not like I don't like having to hold a button to climb. It's weird.
I think you could just tap it, but why do you have to tap it at all? Of course I want to adhere to this wall. That's why I'm jumping at it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was not a fan of that. The combat's really satisfying, and there are some like challenging sections, which is nice. Like, you know, there's some creatures and bosses and stuff that you'll find that you'll be like a bit underleveled, but you're not underleveled enough to where it's impossible, and that's nice that challenge is there. The puzzles, were great. There's one puzzle with a torch that gave me some issues because I wasn't...
Me too.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, oh, I'm supposed to do this? I'm like, oh, it was not obvious to me that is what should happen.
It was a clever solution, and they had put the pieces there for you to figure it out yourself. But the same thing. I did not make that connection until BD1 gave me a bunch of hints.
Yep. Yeah. So
I have an issue with it. Doesn't. It's hard for me to tell where to go. Was that just me?
No, it does do some stuff like that where you're like, I can go one of two ways, and then like you're not sure like which one is the story path. Like it's not obvious. Like I need to definitely go this way to advance the story. So yeah, there's some of that for sure. Yeah. So the story, like we already kind of talked about, but you know, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see like where it goes. I'm feeling really good about this game. I hope that the second half, like, I hope they do some more with the gameplay. I don't know. It's been a lot of like, go here, do this, go here, do this. That's fine, but it hasn't been that. Some parts were not that interesting to me. So yeah,
Are you using your force powers in the combat at all?
I am, and I love pushing people off the edge. It's my favorite thing. Ashley will be watching me. She's like, push him off the edge. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, the combat's fun. I just like want. I don't know. I hope the world's like, I don't know, something happens. We'll see. Something that I did like that was really cool is your health. I was talking with Austin about this earlier, but you know, we played Dead Space already, and your backpack or armor suit or whatever you want to call it, it shows you like how much health you have. And this game does that as well with BD. It'll show like whether or not you're like in health is good or bad. It'll like be red or green. That was really cool. Yeah. So we will see how it goes, but so far it's okay. That's kind of like where I'm at. So our next game will be this one, part 2. And we will be playing past Ordo Eris to the end. Yeah. Does you guys have any final words on your personal opinions?
I got a couple things.
Oh yeah,
real quick.
Yeah, do it.
So the game has 4 difficulty modes.
It does.
Where I guess I forget how they're labeled, but I'm playing on the one where it's the second to highest difficulty, which is what I would call normal.
Same.
All the bars are just even, right?
Yep.
It's just exactly mid-bar. So the bars affect, the difficulty affects parry timing, incoming damage, and enemy aggressiveness. And I wish that you could adjust those bars individually, like to create your own kind of difficulty. But the jump between normal and hard is really huge. It cuts the parry timing way down, jacks up enemy aggressiveness and incoming damage like way up. So I feel like normal's a little too easy. It was a good challenge at the start, but I've gotten used to the combat and the parrying, and I feel like it's a little too generous. Or it's like if I could keep this timing but make incoming damage hurt more, so like I'm more punished if I screw up, or keep the same damage but like try to make the parry timing a little bit tighter. That would be cool, but it gets super tight and you just get demolished if you mess up. So I wish there was a middle ground between those. And also, the actor who plays Cal is on a show called Shameless, which I was watching when this game first came out. And in the season that I was watching at the time, he goes by. So his name is Ian in the show, but during that season, he's going through something. We're calling him Gay Jesus.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So all I could see when I was playing was Gay Jesus with a lightsaber. It's a great show. It's not for everybody, but he's good in it. But all I can see is his character from Shameless while I'm playing this. So it's very weird trying to see him as a Jedi.
One thing.
Is his hair? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is his hair as red in real life
Yes.
as it is? Oh.
He looks exactly in this game. He looks exactly like he does in real life.
Wow.
Huh. One thing we didn't talk about was like the customization of the ship, your character, the lightsaber.
Yeah.
We have to save some things for next time.
Okay, we'll talk about it next time. I have some.
Okay.
I have some opinions.
Reserve
I have some.
opinions.
Okay.
That was one of my problems with the game, but yeah, we'll
Same.
next time.
Same. So we'll talk about that. A little treat for you,
Oh.
for all you listeners out there. A little treat.
Treat for y'all. You'll get to hear me complain.
Oh, that's what I did this entire time.
So thank you everyone for joining us, whether it be on the stream or in the VOD. The next stream will be on December 20th at 2 Eastern, sometime, some other place. Before we leave, Austin, what is the Bombchu crew working on? Is there anything that people should check in on or watch out for, or any recent thing that's going to be happening?
We are going to be having a little something on our Twitch channel on the 12th of December. So I won't get into what it is, but just be on the lookout.
Oh, all right. I actually was not expecting that. A little surprised. Is this first time like breaking news right now?
It's nobody really. I've talked with you about it once,
Yeah.
but it was kind of in passing, and nobody. We haven't really broken this to anybody else. So if anyone doesn't want this out
Heard it
there,
here
then
first.
he might cut it out. But we'll see what happens.
As always, Austin, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And Mox, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Tyler, and this was Video Game Club, Episode 12, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Part 1, and we're out.
Peace.